Hi, Mike DePung here on Spirit Hill, Spirit Healing in and into love and light. And I want to share some thoughts today in another poem that came from deep within me. And because of that, I did write things out, and I'm going to read them, which may disappoint some, I don't know. But I find that when I feel deeply about something, I can get off track and get too sunk into tangents that don't serve to make the point. So I'm going to read what I have, my notes, and I'm going to read the poem, and I may make a few extra comments, but I hope that these are things that will help in our healing journeys. We came here to know happiness. We came here to live through love. And there are a lot of things involved in that because we are complex entities. And I address that some here. So let me just get into this. I've been sensitive to who I am as a person. Because of that, I felt deeply into the energies that radiate from the collective energy expression of this planet. One thing I know I am is an empath, that among other things. Perhaps the most significant other thing, though, is my recognition of each human as an expression of Spirit Incarnate. We are spirit. We're divinity. Not enough of us recognize this for ourselves. Or another way of saying this is that not enough of us have awakened to our own divinity. If we as a collective had a majority who had awakened, the sorrow, anguish, and maybe worst of all, what I've been feeling a lot lately, the confusion that I sense would be far less. Happiness would be far greater. This is my motive. We each should know true happiness and love. This does not mean lives devoid of darkness, and that's not what we should be striving for, is that to escape darkness, because there are different definitions of what darkness is. Darkness is part of it. We came here to experience a fairly full range of incarnate bodily physical sensations. I don't want to get too far afield here. So I'm going to share my feelings on this without further explanations based on a statement that I make in the ceremony that I hold every night, that I remember very many in, and that I enjoy. It's a ceremony of the Fellowship of the Heart, and I enjoy that time. It's special to me, and you'll find out why. My statement that I make every single night, part of what I do, is this: I have known healing through, in, and into darkness and light and love. If what we experience ends in love, then we are awakened to and walking in our divinity. Darkness is part of it. Light is part of it. Different metaphors may represent this. And so I'm going to share this poem that I took, and maybe it's a little trite, I don't know, but it came from within me. And it may not at first seem like it's related to what the collective is feeling predominantly. It is related, though, for in order for us to experience love and understand how darkness and light are both part of that experience, we choose the operating system, the lens, the motive force through which we live. And that's going to be either ego or heart. And we have both. And ego is integral to us. We have to have ego to become a human being, to become incarnate. But that's not the operating system we came to live through. And there'll always be a blend of ego and heart no matter what we do, because that's just part of us. But ego helps us in terms of physical awareness of each of us as a unit in the midst of many other units, or as we call them, society. Ego is default and will draw us to many paths and conclusions that neither end in love nor in true happiness. Beware the definitions that ego proposes to try and keep us safe. We need to assure ego that we came here for happiness, and ego will gradually accept that and be happy too. If it steps back and stops struggling when we awaken to heart, we need to assure ego of these things. Now, back to the poem and the metaphor that I want to use of a wick, a candle, the molten wax, the unseen worlds of the lower, other, and upper being manifest to us in this middle world. Some people balk at that. They think that maybe that sounds a little crazy. And we're talking about other worlds, unseen worlds. Well, people maybe accept in a lot larger way the expressions of religions, of formal organized religions, that there's heaven, that's another world, that there's hell, that's another world, that there's purgatory, that's another world. There are unseen worlds that have been without us throughout our history, which says, yeah, they're there. But this poem and what I experience, and when I do my work as a shaman, know how to, maybe not perfectly skillfully, but I know how to navigate those worlds. And it becomes part of my happiness. And so I want to share this with you. When we awaken and live in heart energy, wonderful realizations really do begin, ones that lead to happiness and love. But don't forget the lovely, luscious darkness that instructs us and feeds us and drives us to engage to light the wick of ourselves by heart energy. So here's the poem that I've titled, One Universal Flame. The lone tiny taper flame contains energy, but not much it seems. Yet that flame could ignite an inferno if placed in certain conditions. One handful of brown crumbling grasses, or a stray trail of invisible gas. Or it could save a life if seen by one lost in darkness. A simple candle on a windowsill across a frozen landscape during new moon. The truth in this flame is the truth of the universe. The human, an expression of Spirit Incarnate, lights the cold blackened wick of self. Alive now, glowing now, the supporting wax transforms. A crystal clear, fragrant lake suggests depths unsensed by many. However, to one who sees, the magic appears. The lower world of ancestors supporting the wick. Generations upon generations of wisdom shared, revealed in the molten clarity from which the wick draws life to burn. The reflection of the flame flickers on the surface, from which the wick emerges and extends its glowing tip, giving life to the swirling yellow flame. The tongue, the hottest blue energy, ensconcing the wick itself, that hot passion nurturing the flame. The dance of that tongue speaks. The upper world of spirits and angels and masters lighting all, loving all, embracing all. Sitting here, the flame licks at my pupil. Soft, fuzzy visions form. The wick burns brighter. Some unseen stream of oxygen feeds it. The vision clarifies, and I burn too, transmuting. I, phoenix in emerging beauty. The unity of worlds summoned, manifested here in the middle world of the wick. No longer cold, no longer charred, a bearer and revealer of worlds when lit and dancing in the cosmos. The universe here, in and of itself, in and of me. That's the poem. Now, I could extend the analogy, but I didn't want to do it. I don't want to make the poem confusing. But when heart energy is not engaged, different things happen. Some give up hope. They relinquish passion and just exist as that cold, charred wick, having burned at some point, but now feeling pointless. No true happiness, no sense of divinity, just apathetic being here. Some relight themselves, their wick, with ego energy, and many ramifications follow that. There are manifestations that I sense in the collective today. The war in Ukraine, the foolishness of power-pandering senators who ignore their own heart in tearing down an eminently qualified Supreme Court nominee for one. And there's a lot more than that. Much of the ugliness and the so-called things that get equated by ego to common sense are things that ego tricks some people into, of believing that their happiness is to make everybody like them. That's ego, that's not heart. We didn't come to live in ego, we came to live through heart. So, my response to all this rests in this suggestion, this thought. Hear your own heart. Live the passionate life you came here to know. That wild inner child who delights in this creation, who knows by heart instinct the unseen worlds exert their essence here, and who uses that knowledge and experience to know happiness and heart love. We need, I won't say that. If we wish happiness, we should realize that we have ego and heart, but that we came here as expressions of Spirit Incarnate. We are divinity, and we are the universe in a very real sense. We are connected with other worlds, unseen worlds, and the unseen energies of those worlds that come here because they want to be a part of it. This unity of all, this unity is amazing. It grants love and happiness as we enter into it, as we see it, as we sense it. So I just leave you with this thought, and with all of the things that are going on in the world that expresses, in a sense, the ugliness of apathetic lives or of ego-lit lives that can drag us down. Know that you are the only one, and that you awakening to your own divinity, that me awakening to my own divinity, and then just being who we are, what we delight in, what that inner child delights in, the things that we would run and chase a butterfly or whatever that butterfly might represent, that those things are why we came here. And it's just about that simple. And it's that being self, you being you, me being me, that will change the collective expression, the collective energy, and help us all to live what we came here to live, to do what we came here to do, be happy and end in love. Till next time, love and peace.